There's two seminal business books that I think every person should read. One is Barbarians at the Gate, and the other is Disney War. So Disney War is certainly the much more accessible of the two. I mean, everyone knows the Walt Disney Corporation. So this book starts in the early 80s, where Disney had kind of lost its way. It does some background stuff about the company. It talks a little bit about Walt Disney, and it fills out the family tree. But it really kind of gets going about 82. It starts off and it'll chronicle a little bit about some of Disney's box office failures. Movies that I love personally, but apparently were terrible for the company, like The Black Hole. Black Hole was one, and Tron. And just as Michael Eisner is getting ready to come in, there's going to be Michael Eisner and Frank Wells who are going to play a really big role in reshaping the company. Um, Disney has made the Black Cauldron, and they come in, and this guy under Eisner who's named Katzenberg being the K and DreamWorks SKG, it comes in and he hates the Black Cauldron, and they end up cutting a whole bunch out of the movie, which was an interesting story because the Black Cauldron gave me nightmares as a child, so I can only imagine what they cut out of that film. What I think is most interesting about the books is the stuff about the theme parks. So for most people, Disney movies hold a really special place in people's hearts. Well, for me, I was more of a Pixar person. I like Toy Story, I like Up, I like those kind of stuff. So Disney movies, especially the princess stuff or whatever, just don't really interest me. But the theme parks, played a huge role in my life, even though I only went there a few times as a child. They had a huge impact on me. So whenever it talks about the theme park stuff, there's some really interesting stuff about Euro Disney too. So Disney kind of loses its shirt in Euro Disney when they're building it, and it talks about some of the stuff of why, which makes for a really interesting case study. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that Disney just didn't prepare for, like the unions and French workers being temperamental, and there were cost overruns. At one point in the book, I can't remember who it is, but some important Disney person goes, and on site, on the construction site, they have a fleet of Land Rovers to shuttle people around. Also, the apparently the castle at Euro Disney is made of actual stone as opposed to fiberglass. Their attitude was, oh, well, French people can go see an actual castle, so we can't give them the cheap knockoff version. They really made some bad mistakes at Euro Disney. But yeah, this book is fascinating. Again, it's really accessible because everyone knows Disney. There's some great photos in it too. I can take you through some of the photos. So we've got here, got a bit of a glare. We'll try to get out of that. We got sort of Main Street USA kind of going on. Try to keep this in focus. So that's Katzenberg. This is Eisner, and I believe that's Disney MGM Studios. So right as MGM was opening, Who Framed Roger Rabbit had either just come out or was about to come out, but it was a huge hit, combining animation with live actors. Bob Hoskins, of course, is great in that movie. Before Eisner came in at Disney to be CEO, I believe that was his title, right? Yeah, CEO. He had worked at ABC. He was an ABC executive where he sort of his baby, I guess, was Happy Days, according to the book. The Fonz and the Cunninghams and such. Very interesting. And then after that, he went and worked at Paramount, where he oversaw some really iconic movies. But yeah, I mean, as far as some interesting takeaways of this, I hope I'm not ruining too much. You might want to turn it off. There's some spoilers, but by the end of it, Frank Wells dies tragically in a helicopter crash, and Eisner is sort of left as the only powerful figure or whatever, and he eventually kind of scares everyone enough that he ends up being surrounded by a culture of yes men, but mainly by his own creation, because everyone was so scared to say no to him and stuff like that. So then it leads, it takes Disney from a successful stream of ideas into whatever Eisner said we're going to do, even if it's terrible. So this is a photo of Johnny Depp on set. Apparently Johnny Depp thought that he was really, usurping Disney by acting all weird and stuff as Captain Jack Sparrow, but it backfired. It's a huge hit for the company. All in all, just a great read. It's an extremely long book. There's the man. Some people love him, some people hate him, right? It's an extremely long book, so I got about halfway through it, and I stopped reading it to read another book, and then I came back to it, which, it takes a very long time. It's a very long book. The author of this is, I've never read anything else by him, but he's supposed to be a really good author. He won some awards for some of his other books. All in all, very great. So, one of the other things about this is, so the channels that I follow on YouTube, some of them are, I follow this channel called Defunct Land, and Theme Park History is another one, and they go through and they talk about defunct Disney attractions and what have you not. So again, I find this stuff really, really interesting. And compared to Barbarians at the Gates, which is, the other business book that I really recommend, it's so much less complicated. I mean, Barbarians at the Gates is one sort of transaction. It's an attempted leverage buyout of what was RJR Nabisco. There's a whole bunch of players in it. There's a lot of stuff that maybe people aren't as familiar with, so it's a lot less accessible. Whereas this, everybody knows Disney, so it's fun, it's great. I recommend it. Definitely a good Christmas gift to recommend for someone on your list who's into this kind of stuff. So yeah, definitely check out Disney War. Oh, one more thing. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Let me know the feedback. Let me know if you like the book. I'm going to do some more comic stuff. I'm going to talk about my gateway to manga. I'm going to talk about Golgo 13 in my next video, so stay tuned.